So of course, looks like YouTube messing with my videos again. Tried to cut up as good as I could, but pretty sure it's not that great, but hopefully you still enjoy it. Going on, dudes and dudettes. So some big USC news as far as recruiting comes along for the football team. So now all of a sudden BRU McCoy wants to leave Texas. He might be transferring out, even though he's been there for a few months now. I believe the main topic is that he's really homesick. Didn't think he'd miss, California that much and his home and obviously his family and friends. And then now they're kind of wondering if when he does transfer, if he does again, because he doesn't seem like he's going back to Texas after they just had a little break right now. He's still in California, but all signs point to him leading and going back to USC, hopefully, because obviously throughout the whole recruiting process, it was USC against everybody else, and that's why he committed to USC at first, and then obviously the Cliff Kingsbury, all that drama stuff happened, but now that they're kind of actually doing good so far, hopefully that they're still at the top of his list. And yeah, maybe since it's a double transfer, he might have to sit out 1 year, but at least the guy that I always wanted them to get this year will be back on the team, at least officially for the next year after that. So that's all I can hope for. Hopefully it does go well and just another victory we can get away from Texas, because obviously it sucks losing him to Texas. But other recruiting news, so Randall Grimes, a wide receiver, was transferring out of USC to Minnesota. Now it looks like he's just going to go back to his hometown at UNLV. He's going to play there, so good luck to him. Pretty sure he'll get a bit more opportunity there. Then also 11 players were named to the all Pac-12 teams. There's 3 tiers, so the first, second, and third team. That's not bad, having at least 2 to 3 guys in each area. It's pretty cool. They were kind of off and on as saying who exactly it was that were selected to the pre-All-American teams for that conference, but I'm pretty sure like a Michael Pittman Jr., Tyler Vaughn's, both those wide receivers, also like a Christian Rector, the defensive end star that's there, Marlon Tuliaputu, so a lot of guys, especially defensive wise, probably be there. Pale Naotiote, the linebacker. But if I maybe get a full list of that in the future, maybe I'll put it out, but it's good that they're at least getting some credit even before the season. Then also Keenan Christensen, he's broken another freaking record before he's even gone to USC for his speed. He won 2 California state titles over the weekend, obviously showing how fast he is, and even in some of those pictures right there, you could see his size change, so he's obviously still working on getting bigger and still developing his speed and still maintaining it. So that's a really good sign right there. Just glad USC was able to snag one of those speedsters away from Oregon, because they always seem to flock up there. But glad he's on the team. Then they're saying some NFL guys who are on the verge of stardom. Obviously, I kind of disagree with the main picture they put up there, because they have Juju Smith there, who's obviously the ex-USC wide receiver who's going into his 3rd year. But I think kind of by when last season started, he was kind of already a star. He just needed to get the superstar and Antonio Brown off his team, and now that he is, he's obviously going to be the superstar of that team, the #1 option for Ben Roethlisberger. So I kind of just believe he's already there. Obviously, I wanted him to go to the Chargers, but they don't listen to me. But that's just how it goes, I guess. But yeah, let's keep on going. So a bit of Duke news. Yes, Marquise Bolden is staying in the NBA draft, luckily. Obviously, there really wasn't going to be that much room for him to really start playing next year. with all the guys coming in, so kind of glad he stayed. But there is one older upperclassman that is returning, and Javin, which I've kind of been off and on just because a guy with his size and ability and the frame he has to be able to add so much more muscle to him, which he doesn't, and that's why I don't know why they have him playing the center position at times, even in college, because he's not really that effective. Even at that position, he could be so much better, in my opinion, but obviously he wasn't getting some good word from NBA teams. I'm pretty sure that's why he came back, obviously with one more year left, but we'll see how this goes. Then, yes, RJ Barrett, the guy who's most likely going to go top 3 after Zion Williamson and John Morant. It has his pro day in LA, so hopefully that could lead to some sign where the Lakers might get him. But he is also a New York guy as well, so obviously he doesn't mind going to either big market. And either way, he can't lose because he's going to have the opportunity to strive for success in no matter what way he wants, so good luck to him. And then there's that picture of him joining Zion Williamson in New Orleans, which is pretty cool when they're in those jerseys, but obviously it's either like the Knicks or the Lakers would have to probably make that choice because they're the only teams that are most likely going to pick him. He's not going to get past 4, in my opinion. But the Chargers, some bit of news for them. They claimed the tight end Andrew Vollert off of waivers, so I'm not pretty sure if they let go of anybody with that move or not, but usually they do, but I didn't see anybody let go, so see what he can do. Then also we had both contract negotiations going on for Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon, the running back. Obviously they said the contract extension for Rivers will happen, which obviously, in my opinion, I really hope it doesn't, but we already know what's going to happen. Then with Melvin Gordon, they say that should they just hand him the contract? Obviously, I would say no, just because he is banged up at times. Even when he was really good the past 2 years, he did get dinged up here and there. Pretty much like his first year where he was injured for most of that year, but I don't know. If it's like not something like a huge contract, then I'm okay with it, but if it's a huge extension where you can't re-sign a guy like Joey Bosa the next year, I don't think they should really do it. Running backs are a dime a dozen. You can find plenty of them in the next coming drafts, in my opinion. And then also, and speaking of Bosa, they're saying he's looking really awesome right now, so that's good and bad because he could have the possibility to win Defensive Player of the Year, in my opinion, this season coming up, but it's also going to be a bigger bargaining chip for him next year going into his final year of his rookie deal, so it's the good and bad of it. And they're saying that Coach Lynn is pretty high up there when they're ranking the top coaches in the NFL at the moment. He obviously surprised me because it definitely surprised me when his name was announced that he was the new head coach for the Chargers. I never really heard of him. I knew he had some success at Buffalo a few years before that with MCCOY, but that's a different animal. MCCOY is really good, but even when McCoy went down, the guys behind him did really well too, so he kind of had a good feeling that he knew what he was doing coaching-wise, at least that position. But a lot of the backstage Chargers stuff that they put on YouTube every other week or something, it's really good, especially the past couple years that they've been having it, and just seeing how he goes through the whole team workouts or any of the drills that they're doing, and even off the field stuff as well. He really has a good grasp on how to control a team, and I'm really surprised and definitely glad he's on the team, and wouldn't mind him getting an extension on his contract as well, but obviously that time will come when it comes. To start off with a little bit of the not as crazy Laker news has already happened the past couple days, but let's get through this stuff real quick. So they're asking if the Lakers are going to have both Kobe and LeBron recruiting to lure star power to the Lakers this summer. Obviously, if Kobe really believes so much in Pelinka, who I'm going to get into in the video after this about the Lakers, but if he believes so much in Pelinka and is pulling the strings to make sure he still keeps that job, then he definitely should just take a time or two with the few weeks that they're going to have at the beginning of the offseason to get some of these good players to want to come here, especially with his relationship with Kawhi Leonard. I think that could help out a lot, especially if he's in the room as well. And just say, you know, LeBron's time is almost up. It's going to be your time. You won't have to exert as much energy as you have so far just to even reach the finals in the East. I mean, the guy's hobbling, and they still somehow made it into the finals against the Warriors this week coming up. But I just don't know if they could really make it all the way to win, because he's just not 100%, but obviously he's a great talent, obviously from Riverside, California, so we need him to come home, but not to that other LA team. We need him to come to the Lakers, who he was a big fan of growing up. But they also said that LeBron James made the All-NBA third team. Some people weren't happy about that, but obviously he deserved it, because when he was healthy, he still played like a beast, even though he's already as old as he is, I believe 34. So he definitely deserved it. But he is tied for like the most all-time NBA selections, no matter what team. So he was tied with Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, and Kareem. So pretty good list to be a part of. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get another one, because he's going out for vengeance next season coming up, in my opinion. There was that nice picture right there of two other guys that they said would hopefully come to Lakers in Lakers jerseys, in Kawhi and Jimmy Butler. Both in Lakers uniforms with LeBron James there. I believe that deal is possible as long as Jimmy Butler accepts like a what do you call that? An exception, a type of contract for a veteran, kind of what DeMarcus Cousins did to go join the Golden State Warriors. It only cost them like $5 million for him to join a team, even though he should, if he didn't get injured, would be paid like over $100 million this summer for a 5-year contract. So I think if he wants to do that for a year or two and be with Kawhi, who's going to get the bigger contract, and then let the Lakers give Anthony Davis the next big contract the following summer, I think that'll work out. It's got to work out. Please let it work out. Then there was an article asking if Jason Kidd was only hired to try to help lure Giannis Antetokounmpo, the star for the Milwaukee Bucks, who almost made the finals recently, to the LA Lakers when his contract is up in a few years. I just don't think it's really possible. I know he loves Jason Kidd, and if Jason Kidd is the coach of the Lakers around that time when his contract's up, there's definitely a possibility, but I just see him as a guy who's a homer, who's going to stick with the team that drafted him, like a Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. They're going to want to stay there as long as they can to finish out their career. So I just think that's what he's going to do. And plus, he's probably going to be available to get the Supermax, which is like almost $250 million, probably even more, close to $300 million extension, more than what Steph Curry just recently got a few years ago. So it's obviously going to be worth it just to stay in Milwaukee till your early 30s. Then they also had, B options in free agency where Lakers could go, and of course Nikola Vucevic's names came up, the forward out of the Magic, who obviously have been trying to get in trades the past 2 to 3 years for the Lakers, an ex-USC guy, but obviously he won't be that horrible of an option in my opinion if they can get him, and he's not going to cost you as much as some of the other guys. But if you definitely strike out on Kawhi, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, all those top guys, he's definitely a good second option in my opinion. Then they're saying that LeBron is already recruiting Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers. He did have dinner with him supposedly in Philly or sometime during the other few rounds a few weeks ago. So I hope it's working. You just never know. Kawhi is going to do his own thing. He's a very different guy. Obviously would love him on the Lakers, but he definitely seems to be enjoying the fact he gets the ball nearly 100% of the time in Toronto, but it's just because of how horrible I think some of the other guys around him are. They just are in the finals because of him, in my opinion. But yeah, let's get on to the other crappy Laker news like always. So according to reports, Kyrie Irving is more open to joining the Lakers, especially now. But I still think the Nets are a preferred and better destination for him. I think he's better off there. He can still be the #1 option, and there's not going to be too many guys who believe they should be the #1 option, unlike he was in Boston when all those guys believed they kind of were the #1 even over Kyrie. But that's what happens when you get injured and you lose some time. But hold on, I gotta pick up this big baby. But yes, so and then Josh Hart came out saying that he kind of wouldn't like the idea of Kyrie joining just because of how big of a contract Kyrie Irving was most likely going to get, and he knows he's up to get paid after this season coming up, and he knows if that money's gone, then he's most likely going to be gone as well. Obviously, it's a good sign that he wants to stay with the Lakers, but I mean, him being a late first-round pick, it's not like he can garner that much of a huge contract. But if Kyrie can come on a deal, I still have Kyrie low on my list. At some point, I'll make a free agency type of deal again to see who the Lakers don't get as usual, especially even like my option B guys. But yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with that. Then Josh Hart was saying too that if the Lakers do draft a guard that high, he's gonna bust his A. So that's good too, because he's gonna teach him. That's why he was a good get late in that first round, because he's an older player coming out of college, already knew how to play the game, needed the opportunity, but injuries have plagued him to be a more consistent player. That's why they're saying that his missing of opportunities this last couple seasons, but that's what happens when you're injured. And obviously, if he wasn't injured, his numbers would look a lot better, in my opinion. But a guy who's willing to play defense and can shoot the 3 ball and is pretty athletic, you gotta somehow keep him on your team no matter what and convince him to stay. So hopefully they do. Obviously, the front office has been pretty crazy so far.
First take, and I'm gonna come back and talk about what happened in the offseason. That's the next time I'm gonna talk about the Lakers.
And yes, after you saw those videos of basically everything right now, all the turmoil that's going on, the backstabbing and crazy news, he said, she said, coming out about both Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson. Obviously all not positive news for the Lakers, especially two people who were at the top of the chain basically. But yes, a news report saying that both Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka were very mean and abusive, some of the words used towards Lakers people that work around the organization, not obviously the players, but they said people suffer from anxiety and panic attacks from around those guys. Obviously, Magic Johnson, from that video you saw, went on saying there's no way that could possibly happen, because there's no way he would still even be in business. As he said, he would have been called HR. So I still believe Magic Johnson. He's the only one really publicly coming out and defending himself. Pelinka is still kind of hiding. The only reason he was out and about a few weeks ago was to officially name and present Frank Vogel as the new head coach and answer basically 1 or 2 questions about a situation that happened before when Magic Johnson was on TV talking stuff, and that was really it. But even like a weird story coming out too, but involved Pelinka and Kobe Bryant, saying that Pelinka said that Kobe loved Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker in The Dark Knight, and after the movie came out, they set up a dinner and he met him and everything went great. But the story from the source, they're saying that it doesn't make sense because the meeting happened after The Dark Knight premiered and was out to the world, but Heath Ledger obviously passed away 6 months prior for that movie coming out even. So obviously Kobe could not have been able to see it, and this is just another disingenuous and lying and kind of weird backstabbing thing that Pelinka is doing just to probably make him feel and look a lot better than what he really is. And there was like the other thing saying that the Lakers, basically all the coaches wanted to draft Amari Spellman, who is okay out of Villanova last year but hasn't really done anything in the league, so really wasn't a great choice, but he probably could have been better for their type of scheme than what Moritz Wagner has been, who was, well, I've been saying all this time, he was only picked because he's a Michigan player, and that's where Pelinka went, and he was the one calling the shots, basically, in a separate war room, even though everybody's always together, but him and Magic had a separate war room during the draft, and obviously he got his word out saying he wanted Wagner, and that's what happened. But like I said, it's just crap. It's a whole bunch of BS Lakers fans have to deal with nowadays. But Pelinka's still there. Obviously Magic wanted both Luke Walton and Pelinka out of there immediately, but didn't get that wish. I still believe in Magic. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day.